Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We got to give a shout out.
Yeah, we do.
To Ross's girlfriend, Heidi. Mm-hmm. First of all, Ross mentioned yesterday, she's taking culinary classes. So she's like a legit.
She's a little bit of an expert
baker.
Yes.
Yes.
Kind of knows what she does.
And so, in all selfishness, Ross just starts telling us yesterday about how good these cookies are that she made for him.
And he quickly realized what a big mistake that was.
Exactly.
Because he didn't bring any to share.
We are not above putting all kinds of guilt whatsoever on Ross.
Food.
If it comes down to if we get food or not, then yes, guilt can be involved.
Okay. Then that's legal.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I've done that with Becky when she starts talking about her breakfast she makes. And I'm like, it would be really nice if you brought that here one time.
I'm just a poor college student trying to survive. So you should get credit for this. Ross generously brought in
cookies today.
A little bit of the stash that his girlfriend made.
I just had to show it off because they're really good cookies.
Oh, you ain't lying.
Yeah, chocolate chip with some sea salt in it.
Becky took the first bite, and I was like, we lost her.
Close my eyes.
Where did you go?
Like, these took me to Colorado, snowy Colorado, in a cabin in rural, snowy Colorado.
Wow.
Right? No people around, in front of a fireplace with a coffee and a blanket.
It keeps going.
And a book. It was awesome.
It's the best cookie ever.
The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC.
I think Becky is here, although we've lost her into another world a couple of times. Every time she takes a bite of this cookie.
Into a world of a Colorado lodge next to a fireplace.
With the snow falling and a book in hand.
Warm cookie in hand.
She just goes to some place. So Ross's girlfriend is a culinary student. She's a legit baker.
Yes.
She's a little bit of an expert.
Yeah. She made these cookies, and then Ross was super gracious and actually brought some in to share.
After we guilt tripped him.
We did have to guilt him
here.
All right, I was trying to give him a little more credit than maybe
Sorry,
deserved.
Ross.
So yeah, we guilted him, and he brought the cookies in today.
Hey, we should do this more often.
These are pretty legit cookies, and so Alicia actually is on the line. It sounds like you're a pretty good cookie baker yourself. Tell us a little more about this.
Well, when I was in high school, we were high school sweethearts. And I was in the home ec, and we would make chocolate chip cookies every Friday. And I would save some back and give it to him on Friday. So we tease our kids. That's how I went as hard as with my chocolate chip cookies.
Are you still making these famous chocolate chip cookies?
I do, almost, not every week, but at least probably 2 or 3 times a month.
Oh, that's awesome.
Keep that tradition going.
Yes. How many years have you guys been together?
41.
Wow.
That's a lot of cookies.
It is a lot of cookies. We've been married for 41. We've been together for about 42.
It sounds like the foundation to a good marriage is Jesus and cookies.
There you go.
All right. Do you have any other good relationship advice? I mean, somebody who's been married 41 years, you guys have learned a few things.
Well, you just got to work through the hard times and no good times around the horizon, and keep Jesus centered of your marriage.
The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC.
Ready for some good news?
We are too.
Here's your positive difference story of the day.
All right. I don't know if you've ever had that moment right before you get to meet somebody that you really look up to. You get all excited. You start shaking a little bit. You're like, oh, man. It's about to happen. That's exactly what happened when 9-year-old Hayden met her favorite soccer player ever named Carson at one of Carson's games. Now, Carson, like I said, she's a professional soccer player, but her team, they weren't having the best season. They weren't winning a lot of games at all. I think it was like 0 to maybe 9.
Okay, so like not winning
like
any games.
Yeah,
okay.
Yep. So that didn't stop Hayden from looking up to her. Because just like Carson, Hayden had a disability that caused her to be born with only one arm. Mm-hmm. But despite the disability, Hayden always dreamed of being a soccer player before. And after she met her, she knows that this reality can really happen.
Like bonded.
Exactly. And the exchange was only for a couple of minutes, but it really did something to her. But here's the thing, the exchange, it almost didn't happen. Because Carson, the professional soccer player, she used to hate anything that had to do with her disability. If she had to show off her arm in a photo, she would just turn the other way and not show it.
Like hide it.
Some of that, like shame or embarrassment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She wanted to be known as the soccer player, not the soccer player with a disability.
Got it.
And that was until her mom told her she needs to stop thinking about what her disability is to her, but rather think about it as a way that she can love on other people.
Oh, wow.
Hope for
Yeah.
others.
Yes.
So that's exactly what she did with Hayden. Went up to Hayden, hey, me and you are the same, took an awesome selfie with her. And the exchange only lasted a couple minutes the first time. So although Carson and Hayden only met for a little bit, Carson did something that no one expected. The professional soccer player showed up at one of Hayden's Little League games and cheered her on.
Oh,
so
that is
sweet.
so awesome. So she showed up at this kid's soccer game.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing her looking over and seeing, oh, wait, look who's here.
Oh, I can't imagine.
That's
So
really
sweet.
awesome. That is our positive difference story of the day.
Real people, real life. The KLRC Morning Show. 90.9 KLRC.
Did you have your big dinner? Fancy dinner?
Yes, I did. Oh, man. I don't even want to think about this.
Okay, well,
Say
this is a big dinner.
Well, not because the dinner wasn't good.
Okay.
For those who might be wondering, I recently had a pretty nice dinner with my girlfriend's dad.
Okay.
And
And he was taking you out too, right?
He was
like,
taking me out. Of course, I tried to do the whole like, here, no, I got you. Like I invited you, and he's like, no, graduate college first. And I'm like, all right.
okay.
It's like fine.
Okay. So, and this is a pretty
skip the
fancy
drive-thru.
place. So.
It was a pretty fancy restaurant, and I had no idea we were going to go to a fancy restaurant. I knew it was going to be halfway nice, so the outfit I was wearing might not have been the best choice.
Okay.
So I get really cold really easily. I'm already laying out my excuses. And I realized I have these like bleached jeans on, but I have a pretty nice t-shirt on, but I'm like, I'm cold. And the only hoodie I have is another bleached item. It's bleached camo hoodie.
Wow. Was it pink? Also? I mean, I don't know. How could this get worse?
No, it was like very light green. So I put it on, and my hair's also messy. I'm like, I look like a kid.
And you knew this dinner was
I
coming.
knew it was coming.
Wow.
And
way to be prepared.
yeah, so we go in, and I
Okay,
got
wait. So you walked into this fancy restaurant with your girlfriend's dad wearing a camo hoodie,
Bleached pants.
bleached okay,
You
all
look like you
right.
just rolled out of bed. Well, you were rolling
But
Wow.
we did go to an outdoorsy store before, so it all worked out.
there. You fit right in there.
I did fit in there.
Okay.
And we were trying to find the perfect water bottle. So there's so many layers to this story.
Okay, were people looking at you at the restaurant?
People,
Did you feel at all uncomfortable?
I'm not going to lie. I felt a little bit uncomfy in there. Usually I'm pretty secure in my own skin.
You're a pretty confident
but
guy.
I have never worn double bleach into any sort of restaurant before.
Wow. You're not the first
You're
person
classy, Ross.
to probably not be dressed quite for the occasion. So it's not the first time I'm sure that's happened.
I mean, are you guys going to give me a story where
yes,
you've done
so
it? Because like,
when I-
Just so you can feel better.
about
So when I lived in
myself.
Nebraska, I lived in a really small community,
Okay.
and my sister and my brother-in-law visited me, and I had just got off work, and I was working on the production floor, so I had like a bandana on, I had my bum cap, everything, and we get to this restaurant, never been there before. It was like 7:30 at night. I'm in my uniform, and we walk in, and first of all, nobody else looks like us.
Oh, no. Okay.
And I
Okay.
just got done working on the production floor, okay?
See,
These and everyone in there just got off of their like 5 o'clock office job, looking very nice. And then what made it even better is that they had coleslaw, and my sister goes, "Is the coleslaw good?" And of course they're like, "Yes, it's good." And she's like, "But is it KFC good?"
The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC.
Honest.
90.9 KLRC. It's Mark, Becky, and Ross. So Ross got to go to a fancy dinner and wore a camo hoodie
But bleached camo hoodie with bleached jeans.
because you were cold. So it sounds like you're not alone, though. We all probably had that moment where you were like, okay, I might not be dressed appropriate for the situation.
So my dad was like the youngest district manager at that time that he hired to W.W. Granger. So he had a really great job. But he was only 22, and he and Mom already had 2 kids. So it was really hard for him to get into the groove of appropriately dressing to go to restaurants. So there were times when we'd go to restaurants, and he wouldn't be wearing a suit jacket or a tie, and the maitre d' or the hostess would always go in the back room and bring him a suit jacket and a tie to put on before she would sit us at a table. And then there was quite the reverse that was true. We went to a restaurant one time, and they did not require ties, and they did not allow suit jackets. So my dad took his suit jacket off, hung it on the back of the chair, and sat down at the table. And the hostess promptly came over to the table with a pair of scissors and cut his tie in half. Said, we don't allow ties here.
What in the world?
Yeah. I know. So the 60s was a whole different era with knowing how to dress and how to look appropriate.
No way. That's crazy.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
I know. Oh, yeah. Fun times. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC.
Did you finish that book?
I did.
The Tim Timmons one?
Waking Up Again by Tim Timmons.
So he's the guy that's in the I Can Only Imagine 2 movie.
Yes.
Cancer, puts an X on his wrist every day, right? Okay.
And it's the practice of like having where grief and gratitude can coexist. And it talks about his cancer journey, but the guy is so funny as well. So if you need one of those, like, oh, it's serious, there's a lot of learning, but you're also going to laugh, this is your book. But at the end of a few chapters, he'll give you some practices of different things. And the one that stood out to me for today was suffering practices, which I feel like is not something that we talk about very often.
Right. So I'm one of those like, hey, nobody puts it like on a mug. Here are my suffering practices.
Exactly. But he gives some practical things to do. And one of them is practice grief and gratitude together. So what things in your life have you grieved well, and what things do you need to grieve more intentionally? And I think what happens is we have this negative impression of what grief is.
Yeah.
But a lot of times something beautiful can come as a result of that grief or that suffering, right? And personally, it's releasing unrealistic expectations of relationships or of how someone should show up for us or me or my family. And once you release that, it makes like the world of difference. And I think one of the biggest pieces for me having to grieve was over a decade ago when I moved to Northwest Arkansas. I had a therapist who was like, Becky, it's okay to grieve your mother. She hadn't actually passed away, but because of our relationship, she gave me permission to grieve her. And I didn't feel like I had the right to.
Yeah.
Because she was still alive.
That's really interesting because I think about grief so much more and like loss, like somebody's no
Passed
longer
away,
here with
yeah.
us, but they can still be living and still cause that loss.
It doesn't mean that you have that, what you would call a mother-daughter relationship or mother-father, whatever it can be. And so for me, having that permission from a third party, it gave me so much freedom. And so I just started journaling and writing letters to her that I didn't ever give her, but it's just, and that's how I processed my grief. And I felt like having done that is where my release of expectations really freed me and lifted that burden. And so we have it's more of like a grandmother relationship now. I'm kind of like the middle person, but I no longer have these expectations of what she and I's relationship can and will look like because I've let that go.
Does that feel like it opens the door for joy?
Yes.
Too? Okay.
I mean, just a few months ago when she was here, that was the first time I could say in my entire life probably that I felt we had a good time together and she was actually helpful in a way that didn't add more burden. But I think it wasn't so much from her. it was me and releasing that. And it just took this long to finally get there.
That Tim Timmons. He might be onto something. Maybe so.
The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC.
So Becky was sharing about, you read that Waking Up book, the Tim Timmons story.
Yes, it's so
Waking Up
good.
Again. Yeah. The guy that's in the I Can Only Imagine 2
Yeah, it kind of walks through his like cancer journey, and he was supposed to pass away less than 5 years after his diagnosis, and here he is 20 years strong.
He's got some great wisdom on how you walk through. I mean, obviously cancer's really hard, but any kind of suffering, some hard stuff. As you were sharing that, instantly was thinking about, so there's an interview that it's kind of flying all over the internet the last couple of days with a guy named Ben Sasse. He's a former U.S. senator. He was a college professor and college president, and most importantly, he's a dad and a husband. And he's got cancer. And they told him back in December, maybe 3 to 4 months best. But he's still alive. But he's in the throes of it, just ravaging his body. And actually, back up, the most important thing. He's a follower of Jesus.
Okay.
And his perspective on walking through hard stuff, he was on the 60 Minutes interview, I think it was Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So much of what even just came out of that book that you were reading about the wisdom of gratitude when you're going through hard stuff. He literally said, I hate cancer, but I'm also grateful for it because I'm more honest with myself now. I was like, oh, wow. That's really wise.
Ooh.
That is
really wise.
That's really deep.
And I mean, he's got this faith that he's leaning on, even though it doesn't make sense. Why is this 51-year-old dad he just wants to walk his daughters down the aisle someday, and a 15-year-old son that he wants to give advice to that he likely won't be able to? He's like, this is what he said about suffering. It's not something to be fully understood, but it is a path to draw closer to God. And when I can remember that, that's where I find life. And I was like, man, there was a line he said, this was probably the thing that got me the most, because it's hard. How do you make sense of what does God allow, in control? All the theologians have debated all that stuff for a while. But he looked at the guy from 60 Minutes at the very end, and he said, there are no maverick molecules in the universe. And it's the idea of wait a minute, if we really believe that God's ultimately in control, even with the stuff that we don't understand why it's happening, then I can run to God, I may not understand this,
right,
but it's not taking you by surprise today. There are no maverick molecules just out there doing their thing that somehow you missed them.
Right.
Wow.
I'm like, man,
that's good.
That's really good stuff. Really good stuff.
The KLRC Morning Show.
90.9 KLRC. The positive difference.
Happy birthday!
Let's go! 1, 2, 3, go! HPPYBRTXDAY.
Hey! Happy birthday.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. Good dance party today. All right. Time for the Marketplace Grill Birthday Bash. It is Tuesday, 28th of April.
Happy 15th birthday to Hadley Dormany in Rogers.
Miriam Ashish turns 9 today in Fayetteville.
Happy birthday to Michael Cole, turning 71 in Fort Smith.
Whit Cox turning 16 in Farmington.
And Elijah Austin is sweet 16 in Decatur.
Katie Barker also has a birthday in Gentry.
Sydney Lawrence is turning 29 in Lowell.
And Lauren Lawrence also 29 as well today.
Hudson Townsend is turning 8 in Rogers today, too.
Axel Price is turning 6 in West Fork.
And with Ava, too, I guess, huh? Axel and Ava are twins. Okay.
Axel and Ava. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Also, Kale Dempsey turns 15 in Berryville.
Rachel Fulcher has a birthday in Farmington, too.
And Lori Hannon is turning 51 in Bentonville.
And Stacy Costin turns 44 in Fayetteville today. All right, the randomizer is going to pick a winner for us.
And the winner is Sydney Lawrence, turning 29 in Lowell.
Happy birthday.